think the most important thing is for Barack Obama? Obviously, you're here to talk about the anniversary for U.S.-China diplomatic relations, but if you had to say this is going to be the country or the conflict or the place that will define the Obama administration, what would it be?
The president-elect is coming into office at a moment when there are upheavals in many parts of the world simultaneously. You have India, Pakistan, you have the jihadist movement. So he can't really say there is one problem that is the most important one. But he can give a new impetus to American foreign policy, partly because the reception of him is so extraordinary around the world. I think his task will be to develop an overall strategy for America in this period when really a new world order can be created. It's a great opportunity. It isn't just a crisis.
Are you confident about the people President-elect Obama has chosen to surround him? Because he does not have a great deal of experience.
No, he has appointed an extraordinarily able group of people in both the international and financial field.
Mr. Secretary, we thank you very much for your time.
Dr. Kissinger, thank you very much.
Former Secretary of State Henry Kissinger.
But then you said this in March of 2010. Watch.
But we have to pass the bill so that you can find out what is in it away from the fog of the controversy.
And hasn't that idea that you have to pass it before you know what's in it, isn't that really the problem as you look back on it? That there was such a rush to get this done, no Republicans voting for it, and now there are unintended effects of this that were foreseen at the time that you couldn't know the impact of it, and now this is coming home to roost.
No, what I was saying there is we have a House and a Senate, we get a bill, we go to conference, or we ping-pong it, and then you see what the final product is. However, I stand by what I said there.
Is Kentucky Senator Rand Paul. Senator, welcome back to Hannity. Good to see you, sir. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you, Sean.
All right, well, first of all, let me...
Well, you know,
Go ahead.
The way I look at it, Sean, is that, you know, this whole debacle is just an argument for term limits as far as I'm concerned. You know, we had 10 years notice on this fiscal deadline, 10 years, and you know when they decided to address it? 10 years, 1 hour, and 36 minutes is when they finally decided to come up with a bill. They bring the bill to the floor, which I never saw the bill. I'm not sure there was ever a bill printed, but I was told it was somewhere online at 1:36 a.m., and we voted at 1:39 a.m. This is no way to run a government.
Thanks, Steve. The stimulus bill, the energy bill, and now the health care bill. They're thousands of pages long, like this one right here on our table. And Americans and lawmakers alike are all wondering, is anyone actually reading them? Well, now there's a new push to require that legislation be available online for all of us to read at least 3 days before a vote. Congressman Greg Walden is the co-sponsor of this new bill, and he's my guest this morning. Good morning to you, Congressman.
Good morning, Gretchen. Good to be with you.
So my first question is, why do you think this is so important for the American public, or is it for members of Congress to read the bills?
It's for everybody. It's for you in the press. It's for the public. It's for members of Congress. You've got the bill. I've got the bill. It's too bad nobody had time to read the bill. This cap and trade bill, they had a 390-page amendment, got filed at 4:29 in the morning, the day we voted on it. 16 and a half hours to read this. You can't read a Tom Clancy novel that quickly, and you're supposed to understand this. This is a bipartisan effort, by the way. It's looking forward. Brian Baird, my Democrat friend from Washington State, and I are leading this effort to get the resolution out of the Rules Committee that would allow and require 72 hours for the press, the public, and the politicians to have a chance to read these bills online before they're voted on in the House. If there was one clear message out of all the town halls this summer, it was read the bills.
Yeah,
have
no
you
kidding.
read the bills?
Yeah, and yet you still had very high-level politicians who sort of snarked at that, like, well, we never read the bills.
Here's a photo of Chuck Schumer. Apparently it's okay for Jews to possess guns, just not Goyim cattle. Oh yes, the greatest gun grabbers in U.S. history are, and always have been, quite Jewish. Gun control in the United States is as Jewish as our liberal and self-destructive immigration policies.
1968. The Gun Control Act of 1968 comes from Representative Emanuel Seller's House Bill H.R. 17735. It expands legislation already attempted by the non-Jewish Senator Thomas Dodd. America's biggest and most far-reaching gun law came from a Zionist.
1988. Senate Bill S-1523 is sponsored by Senator Howard Metzenbaum. It proposes legislation turning every violation of the Gun Control Act of 1968 into a RICO predicate offense, allowing a gun owner to be charged with federal racketeering offenses. 1988, Senator Metzenbaum co-sponsors a Bill S-2180 to ban or limit or restrict so-called plastic guns.
1990, Senator Herbert Kohl introduces Bill S-2070, the Gun-Free School Zone Act of 1990, which bans gun possession in a school zone. The law will later be struck down in court as unconstitutional. 1993, Senate Bill S-653 is sponsored by Senator Howard Metzenbaum. It bans specific automatic rifles, but also gives the Secretary of Treasury the power to add any semi-automatic firearm to the list at a later date. February 1994, the Brady Law, which requires waiting periods to buy handguns, becomes effective. Senator Metzenbaum wrote the Brady Bill. Metzenbaum sponsored the bill in the Senate. The sponsor of the bill in the House was Representative Charles Schumer. 1994, Senator Metzenbaum introduced S-1878, the Gun Violence Prevention Act of 1994, aka Brady II. Representative Schumer sponsored Brady II sister legislation H.R. 1321. in the House of Representatives.
September 1994. The Violent Crime Control and Law Enforcement Act of 1994 goes into effect, including a provision that bans the manufacture and possession of semi-automatic rifles, described as assault weapons. Note that true assault weapons are fully automatic, not semi-automatic. That gun ban provision was authored in the Senate by Senator Dianne Feinstein and authored in the House by Congressman Schumer.
1995, Senators Cole, Specter, Feinstein, Lautenberg, and others introduced Gun-Free School Zones Act of 1995, an amended version of the 1990 school zone law which was struck down in court as being unconstitutional.
September 1996, the Lautenberg domestic confiscation provision becomes law. It is part of a larger omnibus appropriations bill. It was sponsored by Senator Frank Lautenberg. It bans people convicted of misdemeanor domestic violence from ever owning a gun. 1997, Senate Bill S-54, the Federal Gang Violence Act of 1997, proposes much harsher sentences for people violating minor gun laws, including mandatory prison sentences and forfeiture of property. It was introduced by Dianne Feinstein and Senator Hatch, among others. It returns the idea of turning every violation of the Gun Control Act of 1968 into a RICO predicate offense.
January 1999, Senator Barbara Boxer, aka Barbara Levy, introduces Bill S-193, the American Handgun Standards Act of 1999. January 1999, Senator Cole introduces Bill S-149, the Child Safety Lock Act of 1999. It would require a child safety lock in connection with transfer of a handgun. February 1999, Senator Frank Lautenberg introduces Bill S-407, the Stop Gun Trafficking Act of 1999. February 1999, Senator Lautenberg introduces S-443, the Gun Show Accountability Act of 1999.
March 1999, Senator Lautenberg introduces Bill S-560, the Gun Industry Accountability Act of 1999. March 1999, Senator Feinstein introduces Bill S-594, the Large Capacity Ammunition Magazine Import Ban Act of 1999. May 2000, Senate Bill S-2515, Firearm Licensing and Record of Sale Act of 2000, is submitted by Senators Feinstein, Senator Barbara Boxer, Senator Lautenberg, and Senator Schumer. It is a plan for a national firearms licensing system.
January 2001, Senate Bill S-2515, Firearm Licensing and Record of Sale Act of 2001 is sponsored by Feinstein, Schumer, and Boxer. It is a nationwide gun registration plan. Apparently, there were two versions of that Firearm Licensing and Record of Sale Act bill.
May 2003, Senators Feinstein, Schumer, Boxer, and others introduced legislation that would reauthorize the 1994 federal assault weapons ban and close a loophole in the law that allows large-capacity ammunition magazines to be imported into the U.S. The ban is scheduled to expire in September 2004.
October 2003, Senators Feinstein, Lautenberg, Levin, also Jewish, and Schumer co-sponsor Bill S-1774, designed to stop the sunset ending of Undetectable Firearms Act of 1988.
March 2005, Senator Lautenberg introduces Bill S-645, quote, to reinstate the Public Safety and Recreational Firearms Use Protection Act, unquote. In other words, to reinstate the 1994 assault rifle ban, also known as the Violent Crime Control and Law Enforcement Act of 1994, which expired in late 2004.
March 2005, Senator Feinstein introduces Bill S-620 to reinstate the Public Safety and Recreational Firearms Use Prevention Act. In other words, to reinstate the 1994 assault rifle ban, also known as the Violent Crime Control and Law Enforcement Act of 1994, which expires in late 2004.